The woman get 85, you get 15. It requires a woman more money to dress. And you're not professing your love for what you doing. And until we start teaching this to the younger generation.
So what's good, homies? It's your man, Dr. BOA. You know, I'm almost sick of talking about these crazy things that Steve Harvey says. This guy is single-handedly responsible for hundreds of thousands of men embracing simp life, embracing beta male life. With some of the things he says, and guys see him and they think he has a quote-unquote successful marriage. But what makes a marriage successful? That it's lasted for a long time? Steve is in his 70s. You can go anywhere to get the lies, but I know you came here to get the truth. Welcome to the Alphasphere. Welcome to the Alphasphere, the only place on the planet that's totally engulfed in positivity and totally submerged in alpha energy. I'm your host, Dr. BOA. He's only been married 15 years. So he was already old when he married a woman. He was too old to marry a woman. But let me tell you what he does. He wants to not feel alone in his betadom. He wants other men to join him so he can convince himself that living the way he lives and being the type of husband he is commendable and normal. He says some pretty egregious things. This guy has said that in a marriage, the woman must get 85% and you get 15% because it costs more to take care of her.
Women today have lesser choices. It's really not the women's fault. They're just dealing with the residue for so many fatherless homes. Oh man, it's 50-50. It ain't 50-50. If you're married, it's 85-15. The woman get 85, you get 15. It requires a woman more money to dress, to take care of herself, to run the household. You're not really good at running the household. A woman knows virtually everything to really run that empire. I'm doing what I do. I protect, provide, and profess. 3 P's that a man show love. So if you're not providing for your woman, you're not protecting her, and you're not professing your love for her, what you doing? And until we start teaching this to the younger generation, they actually think that a girl supposed to pay for something.
Now, when you hear this guy talking, you understand that he really believes what he's saying. He isn't one of these guys who just making up things to try to sell a book or try to sell some consultations or any of that. This guy believes what he's saying. You know why? Because he lives it. You cannot say a man is faking if he talks about what he lives, if he preaches what he lives, if he says it how he does it. You can't talk bad about that man as far as saying that he's faking. No, Steve believes what he's saying because Steve is in a situation where he's living this way. He's allowed himself to be put in a scenario where he believes that a woman deserves the best of him. Here's the problem. Steve has a woman whose choice he is not. He ain't even the type of man that she's dealt with. And until he was in his 40s, he didn't even have the type of money that would make her look at him. So yes, his life works fine. He's okay with the woman getting 85. Now, this is the same Steve who said in the other piece that you're supposed to put the money in this account and that account, and it's supposed to be agreed to what can come out of it. And so he's saying that he agreed to put his money in the account. She put her money in the account. He has agreed to give her 85% of the money. And he keeps 15%, even though he's the primary breadwinner. And any bread she's winning is because of her attachment to his name, his brand. Man, none of you men better listen to no foolishness like this. How can you even reconcile yourself to the idea that your woman deserves 85% of your money, 85% of your attention, 85% of your focus, and she should be 85% of your inspiration? Boy, 85 is a strong number. Nothing is 100%. 85 is all. 85% of the money is all the money. And he talking about it takes more to dress a woman. No, it don't. Unless you're trying to have a woman live high on the hog and buy the very best of everything for her. If you got that kind of woman, man, that woman is a gold digger, man, and you just a flea flicker that she getting dimes and nickels off of, man. That's it. And Steve don't understand that. He's wrapped his mind around the concept, and I get it. You have to wrap your mind around the concept that what you're doing is good and noble. Otherwise, you have to accept the fact of how foolish it is. And I just don't think many men can accept when they're doing something so foolish. So they have to normalize it. They have to make it seem good. And that's what Steve is doing. He's making this seem good. The only problem is, it's not good. It can't ever be good. It won't ever be good. Because Steve is being used. If you give a woman 85% of your money, fool, you being used. So what Steve is saying is if you got a wife, you better let her use you. And I tell you like this. If you got a wife, you ain't got no choice but to let her use you. If you this type of man, if you the type of man that couldn't get the money without your money, if you couldn't get the woman without the money, if the woman wasn't paying you no attention before you got the money, something wrong with you, man. Man, Steve know this stuff he talking ain't the best way for a man to be. He already knows that he shouldn't be telling young men this. But he doesn't care about who he destroys because he's destroyed his own life. When a man's life is destroyed, he's not trying to heal nobody else. Misery loves company. A miserable man can't try to make other men find happiness and joy. This thing about what women don't have options. Women don't care. Women are independent. They're pushing independence. They're pushing, I don't need no man. So why do we care about the low numbers of men they have available? Here's the thing. Every woman has turned down a good man before. Here's the problem with Steve. He is that good man, and he was turned down by the very woman he ended up marrying. You know why? Because he built himself up into what she wanted. You know what that is? A man with plenty of money who don't mind spending 85% of it on her. That boy's a trick, man. He's a bona fide trick. He admits it. Anytime you can wrap your mind around the concept of spending 85% of your money on a woman, makes sense, you crazy. But here's the thing, man. When you only have a woman because of your money, these are the type of things that you have to say because these are the type of things that you have to do. And when you get to Steve's age, you don't really care what nobody think about you. So what Steve is saying is that he don't even care about the money. He got the girl, man. He'll give up all the money to get the girl. The only reason Steve got the money is to get the girl. But you can't live that way. You can't just wait and get the woman that you got with the money. She didn't want Steve when he didn't have no money. Now, we can't, somebody gonna say, well, no woman don't want you if you ain't got no money. Nah, man. Now, you can't be in a position of power if you ain't got no money, but there's a woman who will be that man and grind with you, man, and hold you down, man, until you get on feet. That ain't what happened with Steve. She said, nah, bruh. If I'm gonna hold somebody down that ain't you, you better go get that money, then come back. Show me that money. Then we can talk. Then I'll take you seriously. Then I might even let you be my boyfriend. Might even let you marry me, Steve. That's what she told him. And Steve said, ooh, all I got to do is go get money? Man, Steve went out there and got his money. And now he got the woman. But he ain't got the woman. The money got the woman. She still don't belong to Steve. She belong to the bank account. And if you got to give a woman 85% of your paper to keep her, man, I don't want her. I don't care how good she is. I don't care how pretty she is. I don't care what I thought about her back in the day. I got to get 85% of my money, I think less of her now. Trust me. But when you look at the money and you say, money is cool, but I'll give it all away if I could just have her. I give you the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars, and the mountain. I'll give you the world and all that you wish for. And even more, 'cause girl, I love you more than you could know. Steve loves her more than she could know. And he'll give her anything. I'll give you everything and more. He'll give her everything and more. He'll give her 85%. That's everything. If she need more, he'll give her 90. But 85 is good for her. He finally found that number. He probably started at 50, went to 60, went to 75, went to 80, went to 85. 85 was a sweet spot. She started acting good at 85. I wonder how much of the money Russell Wilson had to give Sierra, because he also was not her first choice. See, if you're not a woman's choice, you got to pay her to stay. That's just the reality of it. You got to pay her to stay. And the one thing that a guy like Steve won't ever tell you is that paying a woman to stay is a miserable way to live every day. You got to look at that woman knowing you don't get her whatever money she wants, she's going to be gone. Now you've been fool enough to legally marry her. So you know who controls Steve's household. And he wants you as a man to put yourself in that same position. You heard him say we need to teach young boys this. He wants you to grow up and be a beta male. A woman get 85%. That fool crazy. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hear what you men have to say. I'm out.
Trying to become the most alpha version of you. Dying to become the most alpha version of you. Striving to become the most alpha version of you.